What's going on, YouTube? Gentleman Circle back. Part 8. Journey to Rich. If you tuned in, if this is not the first one you're watching, thanks for coming back. Thanks for keeping up with the series, man. If this is your first time tuning in, thanks for joining. Thanks for coming in. Be sure to check some of the other videos. We talk about a lot of things on this channel. I don't really have a niche per se. We bounce around and do a little bit of everything. So, with that being said, I'm about to spark this up. As in all my videos, if you don't smoke already, don't pick up the habit. It's a bad habit to have. So, with that warning being said, get this sparked up and kind of start on it, man. So, the title of this is Cars. My experience, thoughts, opinions, advice. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know I'm a car guy. I love fast, nice cars. It's always been the kind of thing for me. So, my brother's a mechanic. So, you know, I'm not a mechanic. I'm not saying that I am, but my brother's a mechanic. I know a couple of things. I know a few things, especially, you know, being as good as he is at what he does. He works on a bit of everything. Knows the ins and outs of them. Certain cars he likes less than others. What's going on, Winslow? Hope you're having a blessed night or a blessed day, depending on where you're watching from. Thanks for tuning in. But, you know, my brother's a mechanic, works on a lot of cars. I've had the blessed opportunity to drive a lot of nice cars. If you watch any of my other videos, you know that the ultimate goal for me is a V12 Aston Martin, and it's gonna happen. Uh, not stating on any brand too specific, you know. Damn. Not stating on no brand too specific. You know, I think I was running. I think nowadays a lot of cars have gotten away from what used to differentiate them for the cars that they are. What's going on, Shirley? Hope you're having a good night or day, depending on where you're watching from. Um, but a lot of car manufacturers nowadays, they put small engines in them. They add a turbo so that they can sell gas mileage. And they put these terrible engines in these cars. And they smack a big screen in it. And they call it a, what is that? What is what? But they smack a big screen in it. And they call it a luxury car. And, you know, it's sad. Honestly, I feel like a lot of the luxury manufacturers have lost their way, per se. And it's sad that you can spend all this money on this car and you're buying an absolute POS. Uh, one of those cars for me is Range Rovers. I own a Jaguar. I'm gonna get to that at some point in this video. Giving my advice to younger people and wanting to go buy, a car that they really want instead of something that's reliable or efficient. But I'll get to that later. But I've always wanted a Range Rover, and a good buddy of mine bought a SVR Range Rover, $180,000 car. He does well, um, but at only around 6,000 miles on the car, he's having severe maintenance issues, in which he's having to go to the dealer and get them fixed. Thank God the car's under warranty, but at a few thousand miles on $170,000 vehicle, that's diabolical. It's diabolical. It should not be the case. And a lot of these newer cars are very nice. They have features, they have all this, but coming to the world now, it's not. You don't always pay for what you get anymore. It used to be you pay for what you get. Nowadays, it's more of you pay for what people think you get because of the name, and it's really brought cars down in all types of different ways. Now, I've had the privilege of driving a lot of nice cars, and I've always wanted a Maserati as well, but I'm not gonna buy one, even if I become well-to-do and I have the money to buy one of those cars, because I'm gonna have the Aston Martin. But one of these cars, because you can go get a Maserati for fairly cheap. Um, but the point is why are you gonna buy something and just shell all that money into it and can't even drive it, even if you can afford it? Like, why? Why? What's the reasoning behind that, other than just getting taken advantage of, per se? For example, I've driven a Maserati Trofeo. I think it was a 2019, if I remember correctly. It had the V8 in it. I think it's a 3.8 or something, which is diabolical. That's very small to have that in there. It's a Ferrari derived engine, but that's absolutely no bueno. You know, car had 220 on the dash, man. Seats felt great. Car itself, the steering wheel was amazing. It drove very good. Not gonna lie, it drove very well. Um, but the first thing I did, I couldn't afford the car. It was a 2019. This is when I had a 2003 Camry. I've only had two cars in my life. My first one, I had a 2003 Toyota Camry SE. It was a 4-cylinder. Or I had the XLE, but I had the 4-cylinder, something like that. Because it had an XLE badge on it, but in the system, the van itself, it was SE. But anyways, that was my first car, and I got to a point where it was breaking every week, and it quit on me around 140,000 miles. But around like that 130,000 miles, 120, um, I was putting money in repairs in it like every week. or every 2 weeks. $500 here, $600 there, um, etc. And I was like, I'm paying all this money in repairs. The car is not even worth it. I'm praying to Jesus. I'm like, Lord, take the car. You know what I'm saying? Take it. I don't want it anymore. And I'm taking the exit. I'm on the highway one day, and I'm hitting the gas pedal because I'm on the exit. I'm on the exit, like going around this little exit like that, and getting onto the highway. And I'm pressing the gas pedal. I'm going like 60 or 50, probably about 50, 50, 60. And the car ain't going no faster. Like it ain't. It's not moving. It's not. It's just sitting there. I'm pressing, and it's starting to drop. And start pressing the pedal, and the car ain't going no faster. So I'm like, all right, something seriously wrong. I start to see smoke coming up out the engine, and I pull it to the side. I open it, all the smoke come out. I'm like, you know what? Thank you, Jesus. Thank you for taking the car. And I was doing insurance at the time, so I had a good month. Made like 10K in the month that I picked up a a side job too. I picked up like a part time, 30 hours a week sales job selling like timeshares, and paid me pretty well during the season. Um, when I needed it to, racked me up like 15,000. It's like, all right, I'm gonna go buy a car, and I was doing insurance, and I wanted to get a car that I generate. I stop by a gas station, get 5, 6 numbers at the gas station, and I was like, the car will help me get numbers. It'll help me my image so that I can do better at selling insurance. And I was gonna get like a 300S. I like the Chryslers, but I was like, man, they got suspension problems, so I ain't gonna, I ain't gonna get it. And I'm sending cars to my brother because I like the Cadillac. I was gonna get a Cadillac. Ken kept telling me when I was searching. He was in the more beginning stages of his mechanic shit because I was probably, well, not beginning stages, but he was nowhere near as advanced as he is now. Um, but he was like, "No, don't get it." So I'm looking around for cars, and I see, because I wanted a V8. I like the hearing. I like the sound of the hearing. I like to hear the engine, you know. And I got a V8. The next was a V12 for me, Aston Martin, you know. And but anyways, I see this. I send it to him. It's got the 5.0 V8. I got a 2012 Jag, and he was like, "Engine's good," and the engine itself on it is really well. Is a really great engine. Um, it's everything around the engine that that ain't the best. But she she's needed a lot of work since I bought her. I racked up some money. I went and bought her. Uh, I could have paid cash, but I was like, I'm gonna invest some of this money, and I'm gonna keep it. So I got a loan for 10 grand at like 4% interest, and I was gonna pay it off in like 2 years, 8%. That was fine with me because I was like, it's more important for me to have the cash on hand. So there weren't that many for sale in the U.S. There was like three or four. There was one near me, one 5 hours away. So we went to see the one near me, and my brother went with me, and she started it. And when she pulled it out, because she was like, "I'm gonna go put gas in it real quick," um, he was like, "Transmission bad." He saw how it shook, how the car jerked, and I was like, "All right." So we left. We drove 5 hours. They said the only problem with the car was the AC. The AC don't work. The AC don't work. So in my head, I'm thinking I'm gonna have to pay for an air condition. I can't think of the word. The AC compressor is what it is. The compressor for the air condition. It's a lot of work. So I knew it'd be an expensive job. That's also why I took it out, so I could do whatever work I need done. Because I know it being a Jaguar, maintenance gonna cost you. So if you want to go out, you want to go buy a Benz or a Beamer. Beamer parts aren't that bad, but Beamer's a lot of labor working on the BMWs. Mercedes, the parts expensive and it's a lot of labor. German cars are over engineered. Um, but if you buy an older one, I've had to replace a lot of things on that car. A lot of parts are plastic, but also a lot of parts are going out on it because it's a 2012. It's only got 70,000 miles. I bought it at 62. Um, haven't even put many miles on it. Sits a lot. Always figured it out outside of that. But if you buy a real nice car, don't buy a Rover and don't buy a British vehicle. A Jaguar, don't buy one. It's the best driving car though. I will say. I drove G wagons. I drove V8 Maseratis. Um, so Range Rovers, they drive great. A lot of them, but them Jaguars, they handle amazing. When they drive, they're one of the best driving vehicles when they run. At least for my year. But if you're out there and you're thinking about buying a German car, or you get a German car, change your oil every 3,000 miles or use a higher oil, because the recommended oil, German oil, they use thinner oil than the rest of cars for the most part are recommended. So don't change it every 5,000. Need to be changing it every three. Uh, I was gonna make this video probably longer, but might wrap it up soon. A little tired. It's 20 minutes. Probably have a part two for this. Have the chat, type up, ask questions about cars. If I know, I'm not a mechanic, my brother is. Big car guy. My wife's into JDM. I'm blessed to have a wife that loves cars. You know, I had the kid, and some guys, they shorty when they car broke and need to be fixed and takes money. They're like, you gotta sell the sports car. A lot of men. It's a thing. Mine's like, when you get it fixed, let me drive it. And I'm so blessed for that. I'm so blessed. So blessed. So. Feel like shit biting me. It's getting warm out here. All the bugs be coming out. Hard to sit outside without getting attacked. We gonna call it for a night. We'll see y'all in the next video. Appreciate you tuning in. Peace.